Written here something called npm rundev at the front end. As of now, just wanted this one. Okay, so I'm just closing all the terminals now. So after completion of that thing, now we are going on to do with the front end now. So inside the front end we only need pages. One is a product form, okay, because you need to post the form to the back end, right? Details like title, description, image and all. And second one is the list, okay, product list which we wanted to print. And app.jsx we need to modify. These three only the things which we are going to write in a front end. And with this now I'm going to tell another thing, that is server. I mean, it not server, service. We are going to create a service layers, that is api.js, and in that we'll be storing something called Axios related data. Okay, so I'll be creating the first folders now, what I wanted to create. So inside of the source, first I need to create something. So I created here components folder, and inside the components I'm going to create a two files. One is okay, so inside of the components I'm going to create two files. One is product form dot jsx, and second one is product list dot jsx. Okay, we have something called product form dot jsx and then product list dot jsx, and this is what inside the component which I'm placing. And now I wanted to create another folder inside of a source, that is services. Okay, inside the services I'm going to write here something called api.js. Services I'm going to write here something called api.js. So inside these services I'm going to start the code completely with the services only, because in the services we are going to write backend and frontend. Now, so from backend we have created one API, right, which is having a link called http colon localhost 3000 by API by products, and that link we are going to fetch in the front end in services page. Why? Because we can't able to fetch at every time in every component, right? And if you're fetching like that, it will be fine, but what happening there means, if you wanted to change the hosting link, because after hosting render we will be using render, and then front end will be using Vercel. So if we are placing that all the hosting links, if we wanted to place, means this is only the best option. Okay, by changing the one link will give you the better output, but if you are writing like a multiple fetching methods in a components, then it would be an issue. Okay, so that's why what I am writing here inside the api.jsx, I am importing one thing, that is Axios. From I'm importing it from Axios. Okay, so now we need to use that Axios, that's why we'll be getting an error there. So now I'm creating a variable consisting of a function again, that is API. Okay, I'm creating a function. This, if you want, you can write as a capital API. So I'm writing here API now. So into this API, I'm going to create a function, that is async await function, because I'm going to create async await function because our data will be completely asynchronous. Okay, so that's why I'm writing here now Inside that async await function, I am writing const res equal to await axios dot. We have something called get method, and inside the get method, we'll be getting here http colon double slash localhost colon 3000 by API forward slash. Okay, so what I am going to do here, I am going to just do something called fetching of the API which we created in the backend. This is the main API, right? If you are checking in the Postman, what is the API you're going to check? 1000 by and API by products. That is our main API. So that's why I'm storing it in a. Let me write it as a return first. It need to return that. So I'm writing here return, and inside the return, I'm passing here something. This response, or else this is also fine. Directly write the function. That would be also enough. And now inside this, what I'm going to write const data equal to. I'm writing here response dot JSON. So why I'm writing here response dot JSON? Because the data coming from this fetch is going to be in a string format. So I need to convert it into the JSON. So that's why I converted it as a JSON. Here also I'll be writing await. Okay. So here also I'll be writing here something called await response dot JSON. At the end, what we need to export? Default API. Okay. So I'm just exporting here something called API from this method. Okay. So this API will return something called two things. One is response and second one is data. And now let me write here console.log of data. So then you'll be not able to get that error. Just I'm consoling the data here. Okay. So now this is the function which is returning here. And now with this returning of the function, we have something called get method. And inside the get method, I've given the backend link. Okay. So now this is the main service which we are going to provide. And with this service, we are going to write the code next. Okay. So now inside the product list, I'm writing something called REFC. That means creating of the basic component. And let me remove this top one. And next one, inside the product form also I'm writing REFCE, and let me remove this stop. Okay, so why I have written here? Because I need to call it in the app.jsx. In order to check in the app.jsx, we need to write something inside of it. So that's why I'm writing here. Okay, so here I'm not using any context API, I'm using something called props. So no need of storing in a context here. So done as of now, everyone. Okay, what's the difference between Axios and fetch means? Is the latest method which is provided by the Ajax, and it is also a third party library, and it will provide you the methods like directly get. Okay, if you wanted to get directly, you can write that something called axios.get. That would be enough. If you wanted to do that in a fetch method, you need to give something called again method as a post as an object. Okay, but in Axios, directly you can get the methods to do whatever we wanted to do. Okay, so now this is what we are going to do now. So axios.get is done. Is it done? Everyone, last benches, boys. Okay, so now I'm just exporting this API. Now I'm going on to the app.jsx because I'll write the code in a flow. Okay, I don't want it to confuse you. That's why I'm writing the code in a flow. So here I have something called app.jsx, and just I'm removing that app.jsx. I'm writing here RAF CE, and inside this I'm just removing this import React. And now I'm writing here inside the app, I'm calling first I'll write the h1, that is simple mern ecom full stack. Okay, I just given here something H1, that is simple mern ecom full stack, and after that I am calling here something called form. Okay, product list ingotemo product form kada. So now I'm calling that product form first, and then I'll call the product list next. So I'll be calling here product form, and next one I'll be calling here something called product list. Okay, so now before that, what I wanted to do here means I wanted to do something called, I need to create a functions like add function, okay, and then create function and get function and delete function. In order to do that functions, we need to do that functions in this app.jsx itself, because we are passing as a props. Okay, so now after this app, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create here something called one use state. So that use state is for products. Okay, so products comma set products, and I'm taking it as a use state. So I'm writing here use state, which need to be automatically imported at the top, and I'm taking initially data as a empty array, because the products will be always coming as a list, right? So that's why I make it as a empty array now. So now after setting these products, now we need to write a function which need to fetch the data. Okay, so that's why I'm writing here const fetch data equal to, I'm writing here async function, and inside the async function we need to write something called fetching of the data by using the tags use. Okay, so if we wanted to get the fetch data, now I need to write here const again response equal to, I'm writing here something called await API. So now I wanted to get that API which is coming from the services.api. Okay, so I'm writing here API. That means whenever I'm getting API, I'm able to get the complete backend structure, right? So that's what I have written in this API.js. Inside the API, what we have written here, it is returning something value coming from this get method. That means all the products which you are having in a backend, that you will be able to get this, right? So that's why what I'm doing here, so I'm just going and writing in this API dot get, and inside the route I'm getting here something called home route. Okay, I'm just getting the home route, and now so this would be enough, and now we need to call this fetch function, because the all the fetchings need to be done in a use effect only. That is what we explained. I explained in the previous classes, right? In the previous classes I told you, like use effect is used for applying the side effects of a web page. That side effects may be anything like fetching or consoling or creating files or updating files, whatever it may be, that everything need to be in a use effect. So that's why I'm calling this fetch function in a use effect. So I'm writing here use effect, and it takes a two things. One is function and second one is dependencies. So I'm writing here dependencies as a empty array, because I need it to be run only for one time. Okay, so that's why I'm writing here dependency as a empty array. So now inside these I'm calling here something called fetch data as a main function. Okay, so I just created a use state which has been not used as of now. Will gets the data, and next one I've used it in a, I called it in a use effect. Okay, so after completion of this one, what we need to do, we need to write the functions now. That is leave it extension I think. Okay, So now after this, what we need to write? We need to write the functions now. I'm writing here const, and I'm writing here const function that is add data or add products. Get products and already done, right? This fetch data will directly get the products. So that means, okay, we need to set it, right? I'm writing here set response. So actually what we need to do, we need to set the data into these products, right? Then only we'll be able to do any manipulations if we want. So that's why what I have done here, I've done after getting the data, I'm just setting the products as a response.data. That means whatever you're getting the data is being updated to this products list. Okay, so now after completion of this, now I'm writing here something called add products equal to, I'm writing here again async function. Async, I'm creating an arrow function, and inside the arrow function, I'm going to write the data here. Okay, so the data is, why it's get, whatever it may be. So now I'm writing here something called add products, and inside the add products again I'm writing const res equal to. So now what we need to do? Await API dot. So I need to apply here something called post method. I'm taking that is in the and when done with the add products, and now we need to delete the product, right? So that's why I'm writing here delete product. So I'm writing here const delete product equal to async function. So I'm creating async function, and then inside that now I need to write const again res equal to await API dot delete, because the method is delete, right? So that's why I'm writing here delete, and here inside the delete we need to pass the ID here. So that's why I'm taking a parameter as ID which is coming from the backend, and now I wanted to write it inside this colon dollar curly braces ID which I created. Okay, so I'm deleting by using this ID, and I'm adding by using this route now. Okay, so this is how you can add the routes in the front end. Neglect these errors because it is coming through some extension, I know, I guess. So you will be not getting any errors here. Okay, so only setting of a products in a use state, and then after that we need to fetch the data from the API, and then afterwards you need to call the function in the use effect, because side effects need to be run in a use effect only, and afterwards you need to add the product by using API dot post, and next one you need to delete the project products by using API dot delete. So here we need to delete the product by using the ID, that's why I passed as a ID here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass through the props. Okay, so where we are going to pass the props here? In a function calling only, right? I've given you examples in React.js at the starting classes. If we wanted to pass a props, we need to pass inside the function calling. So that's why I'm passing here inside the function calling, that is add products equal to, I'm passing the function which we created, add products. Okay, and inside the list we need to pass two things. One is products, and second one is delete product. because inside the list only we have something called delete product, right? So that's why I'm passing the two props here. One is product because we need to print the list of the products, and second one is delete product because we need to delete the product whenever I'm clicking on the button. Okay, and inside the product form we need to add the form. That's why I only pass the add form. Okay, so this is how it will in a app.jsx. If it is done, then we'll move on to the next one. Write it first. ఎక్కడ వరకు రాశారు? ఫస్ట్ నుంచి చూపించాలా? ఒకసారి రాయండి ఫాస్ట్ గా. ఇది ఆపితే అయిపోతుందిరా. ఎన్ని లెవెల్ పెడతాను? మధ్యాహ్నం నుంచి ఇంటికి వెళ్తా అన్నాడు, మరి ఎందుకు వెళ్ళలే? Is it done? Scroll. So await API dot get set products user fed, and just write this like this. Don't write it in a variable. You can directly pass here. Okay, and here also remove this variable and directly write await API dot delete, and again we need to call the function, right? So that I forgot here. Just call it, then it would be done. Okay, so here we have something called user fed for this, and after calling of the user fed, try to write here add the products, And now next delete the products will be also there. So add products and as well as delete products. So just what I have done is I just remove the variables because we are not using that variables, right? And it will always calling the function means always comes that data and it will stores the data here. So no worries about the output. Okay. And now inside the return, just check that whether you are passing the props or not. Is it done? These are the functions which we created, add products, and this is the array. Okay, inside the array we have a data there, and this is the delete product, which is also a function. So this is how linking of front end and back end. Okay, it's not a big deal to link the back end with the front end in mernstack. It's only done by using that fetching method. Now we are using something called Axios here. But actually, if we wanted to do, we can do with the fetch also. Okay, backend link we need to fetch it in the front end side. But after hosting, we need to change the cross origin policies there. That's it. Instead of fetching here multiple times, you can see app.api.delete I have written. So I haven't written here link like https colon localhost and everything because I have created as a single API link here. Okay, which is coming to the multiple options whenever I'm writing the code here. Okay, if it is done, we'll go on to the form. With this, you will be not getting any output. Okay, fine. Whenever I'm writing, you need to type. Then we can read. Everyone done writing? Okay, now. So now we'll go on to the two data. I mean, I need to create a form and also I need to render the list. So these two, if we have written these two forms means then it would be done. Okay, so we need to create only these two components and then we need to check the output whether the data is posting and whether the data is getting or not. Okay, so from the backend we don't have any issue because the data is going there, right? So we have only issue if we are having any issue means that would be from the front end only. So now I am writing here first product form because after writing the form only display the data, right? So after clicking on the form only we'll be able to display the data there. So that's why I'm writing here. I'm creating a one division inside, that is form, and I'm removing this action. As of now, this action is not needed. I'm writing here on submit as an event. So inside the on submit, I'm writing here something called handle submit as a function. Okay. And now inside the form we have how many inputs? How many inputs we need? 5 inputs. One is for title, price, category, description, image URL. Right. So I'm creating here input. So input type equal to text, and I need to create a use state first, because we need a form data need to be go to the database, right? If we wanted to push the data into the database, then we need to create a use state here. So that's why I'm writing here const. Sorry. So const form data comma set form data equal to, I'm writing here something called use state, which need to be imported at the top, and initially I'm writing a elements we are having handling. If you are having single element, then you can directly write a string. Whenever you are having a multiple elements in a form, then we need to pass it as a object only. So that's why I'm writing here first title as a, so title, sorry, so title as empty string, and comma, I'll be writing here price as again a empty string, and next one is category as a empty string, and next one is so after category I'm writing here something called description also as a empty string, and finally I'm writing here something called image as empty string. So this is the thing which you already know. I will tell you in a form handling which is a controlled form. Okay, controlled form we have created something called use state, and inside the use state we create an object consisting of a key value phrase, and initially we gave a value values. Okay, so now after creation of this use state, now what we need to do? So we need to pass the data here. So for the example name equal to, I am writing it as a title, and next one I am writing here something called placeholder as a enter title, and now I am giving here something called ID, but now IDs are not needed in React.js now. So now after this on change. Okay, so on change I am writing here something called handle change as a function. Okay, so these are all the things which I have created initially. So consisting of a input type equal to text and name as a title, and also we need to add another thing we forgot, that is value, and value will be adding it as a form data dot title. Okay, I'm writing that value as a form data dot title, and now after this I'm just copying this input and pasting it for 5 times. I mean next 4 times, 2, 3, 4. Totally we have 5. Okay. So now equal to text, that is fine. But second one is, this is a number, right? So here I'm writing equal to type is a number, and name is also as a, yeah, price. So I'm writing here something called, and value as a form data dot, and placeholder on change is same. And third one is category and value also form and form data dot category, and then here you need to write something called for number. There is no need of placeholder, so let me remove this placeholder. And category we need a placeholder, so there you need to write something called enter category. And next one we have something called description, so name equal to description. Saito, I hope here I have written description DICRIPIT. Okay. So now written here name as a description and value as a again form data dot description, and now placeholder also as a description. Actually here we need to give something called text area, but no worries, data need to be pushed, right? So that's why I'm writing direct description here. And now finally we have something called image URL. So I'm writing here image, value is also as a image, and also here I'm writing here something called enter image URL. Okay, so this is how we can. Now finally I'm writing here something called button, which is submit, and I'm mentioning here equal to submit. Okay, I'm mentioning here type equal to submit here. Okay, so what I have done, I just created a form consisting, and inside that I have written a function, and I have created a 5 elements consisting data like title, price, and category, and next one description, and next one image URL. Okay, and finally I have a something called button here, that is submit button. Okay, 2 functions here, one is handle submit and second one handle change, right? Whenever I'm submitting the, what I need to do, I need to call a function that is add products. So I'm just getting it through the props. Here if you observe here, inside the app.jsx into the product form, I have passed something called add products as a props, right? So that's what I'm getting here, add products. Okay, so this we need to call whenever I'm clicking on the button, and into that button I need to pass something called this data also. Okay, because that form data only need to goes to the backend, right? So that's why I need to write the backend data here. Okay, so now we'll write the functions. Now first we'll write the handle change function, then next we'll go on to the handle submit function. So after completion of this, I'm writing here const handle change equal to, so I'm creating a async await function. Is needed or not? Not needed. For handle change there is no need of async await function, so we can directly write a normal arrow function. And now here I need of, and here I need to write an object because we are in the object, and inside that I need to write e dot target dot. So let me write the event here e, and let me write here e dot target. So here I am writing here e dot target dot name colon e dot target dot, and I need to spread it before, that's why I'm writing here form data comma, I'm writing this one. This is the code which you already know, right? Are we discussed or not? హ్యాండిల్ చేంజ్ ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పింది డిస్కస్ చేసామా లేదా? చేసాం కదా. వెన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పినప్పుడు ఫామ్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ లో మనం కంట్రోల్ ఫామ్ చేసాం, గుర్తుందా? కంట్రోల్ ఫామ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ నేను ఏం టార్గెట్ డాట్ నేమ్ అంటే దేన్ని గెట్ చేస్తుంది? ఇక్కడ నేను రాసిన నేమ్ అంటే ఈ డాట్ టార్గెట్ డాట్ వాల్యూ అంటే దేన్ని గెట్ చేస్తుంది? ఇక్కడ నేను రాసిన వాల్యూని అసైన్ చేస్తుంది. సో అదేనా మనం చేసేది కంట్రోల్ ఫామ్ లో. సో రియల్ టైమ్ ఆల్సో విల్ బి డూయింగ్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్ బికాస్ దట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ ద లాజిక్ we wanted to write there. Okay, so now after completion of this handle change, I am writing now handle submit function. So const handle submit equal to, and I am creating again an arrow function, and which is a async await function. Okay, because we need a backend need to be called, right? So that's why I created here async function. And now inside this async function, now I'm writing here, first one is I'm taking an event and I'm writing here something called prevent default. So by I'm writing here e dot prevent e dot prevent default. So what is the use of this e dot prevent default? It prevents the reloads from the web page. Whenever if you're submitting the form, so it will reload the web page. So it prevents that reloads from the web page. So that's why we'll be using here prevent default as a function. And now after prevent default, actually what we need to do, we need to call the add submit, add products function, and into that function we need to pass something called form data. Okay, so I'm just passing the form data into this add products function, and this form data will goes to this app.jsx through the props, and then it will triggers here this function, and then it will post it inside of this route which we have given here. So this is what happening. Okay, so whenever I'm clicking on the button submit button, so what it will do to the form data function. Okay, add to product function. The form data which we are passing is going on through the props to the app.jsx here. Function will triggers, and then it will post the data into that URL which we have given there. Okay, so this is what happening here, and this is what we need to write inside. And after this we need to do one more thing, because we need to erase the data, right? So actually we have created here empty string, and then we have updated it with the data user submit. So that's why I'm writing set form data of, and I'm writing here object, completely copy paste here. This is the object I'm going to write. Inside the use state we have an object, right? Just copying this object and I'm pasting it inside this set form data. Okay, and this is what the product form. Okay, ఓ పని చేయండి, నేను మొత్తం చేస్తాను, చేసి చూపించిన తర్వాత మీకు కోడ్ పెడతా, అప్పుడు రాసుకోండి. అర్థమవుతుందా? రాస్తున్నప్పుడు మీరు రాస్తుంటే కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యేది, అండ్ అలాగే కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ స్లో కూడా అవ్వచ్చు కదా. ఓకేనా? లేకపోతే రాస్తారా? రాయలేదు కదా, హాఫ్ ఏం చేద్దాం మరి? చేసిన తర్వాత చేస్తారా లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడే రాస్తారా? నేను అనుకునేది ఏంటంటే, ఒకవేళ వి మైట్ గెట్ ఎర్రర్స్, రైట్? So I am also typing here, I'm also will get the errors like any spelling mistakes, and if you have written same like that, again you need to change. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay, నేను ఇక్కడ స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ రాసింది, అది మీరు రాసి మళ్ళీ నేను చేంజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత అది మీరు చేంజ్ చేయకపోతే you will might face a issue. So that's why what I am thinking means, first I'll execute it and I'll run it, and if it is working well, then you can write. Okay, so we have only one more component only. After writing the component, we'll able to get the output there. So no worries. So now first of all I need to check the output whether this form is getting or not. So I'm just going on to the Chrome, post 5173 ecom website, and we have something called enter title, number, category, description, image URL, and submit button is also there. Okay, so now next we'll do it later. Now we need to print the list. Actually now we can check, by adding the data whether this component is working or not. ఎందుకంటే మీరు ఇక్కడ యాడ్ చేస్తే డేటాబేస్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది కదా, కనెక్షన్ అయిపోయింది కదా. సో లెట్ మీ చెక్. యాక్చువల్లీ ఐఎమ్ రైటింగ్ హియర్ Samsung and here we need to give price is something around 2 lakhs. Category is electronics. Description is Galaxy. And image URL, let me place the image URL. So I'm writing here Samsung, and I'm going on to the images, and inside the images I wanted to give one image, so I'm just copying the address and I'm pasting it in this URL, and I'm clicking on the submit button. So the data has been, but I don't know whether it is API.post is not a function at app.jsx, so that's why I told you to wait. So this is not working actually, so we need to check the service layer, I guess. So we are getting an error at app.jsx, right? So inside the app.jsx we'll be getting error here, API.post. Let me check that whether API is imported or not. It's imported perfectly from the API.js, and now I need to check the API actually what I have written inside of it. Hope it need to return the data. I think, wait a while. Yeah, we have created something wrong here. Get right. So here we need to create an Axios here. So that is the thing which I have done a mistake. So now I'm creating here something called Axios dot, and I'm creating here by using a create keyword, and then this is a base URL which I wanted to give inside of it in an object. So I'm writing here something called base URL colon. Okay, and I just don't want all those things now. So this is what we need to do in the Axios. Okay, so I just created here something called Axios.create, and inside of this is the which is providing by the Axios itself. If you are changing spelling means it won't be able to get the data. So that means you need to write the same syntax which I am writing here. Okay, and then link will be the same because that is a product link, main product link which we are having, and then this is the base URL which I am passing here. So let me check that whether it is running or not. So it's running also. So initial get is not a function, fetch data. API.get will be getting an error here. So we have exported the API and now we need to import this API now. So Control X and let me write here API has been imported now. I'm just saving and let me refresh the terminal. This is the correct one only. and this is the function which I'm calling here. User bed syntax is also correct, and then I'll get the arrays also, dependency, empty dependency, which is importing at the top, and method is a get method. So get, are we installed Axios? Yeah, we installed. Const fetch data, async await function, it would be fine, and await is also there. Response.json, user bed fetch data. So let me check the exact error where I'm getting. So here we'll be getting, right, this is only the wrong thing which we have done here. So we need to get the directly only API. Okay. So here we need to post the API and we need to and actually this is not an error actually. I'll check it actually. అది నాకు తెలుసు అది VS Code లో చూపిస్తుంది. ఫంక్షన్ యూజ్ ఎఫెక్ట్ లో కాల్ చేస్తే ఎర్రర్ రాదు నార్మల్ గా. సంథింగ్ ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ హాస్ బీన్ ఇన్స్టాల్డ్ ఇన్ దిస్ ల్యాప్టాప్. మీకు వచ్చిందా ఇక్కడ ఎర్రర్? ఈ ఫెచ్ డేటా దగ్గర ఎర్రర్ వస్తుందా? రావట్లేదు కదా. కన్సోల్లో వస్తుందా? ఫెచ్ డేటా దగ్గర ఎర్రర్ రావట్లేదు. దెన్ ఇట్ వోంట్ బి ఇష్యూ. ఓకే, ఎనీవే విల్ సెండ్ ద డేటా. And we'll check it. So it's showing the error at this API dot post. So the code has been correct only. So let me check whether that backend is running or not actually. I'm not checking the backend. Control C and run it again. Is running. MongoDB is connected. So same code we have written actually. You can see and observe. So here we have something called import Axios from Axios and then dot create base URL. So same we have written API.jsx. So Axios and Axios dot create base URL there and the URL which we mentioned here. And then next one is we have something called product. I mean app.js. This is only the thing which we have written. Products, comma set products and then fetch products we have written here. And then API.get also done. And user fit inside I am calling this fetch product function which I created. And here we have written API.post which is same link. And I don't know why it is not getting then. So let me first check it with the copy paste. So now the request is coming from the backend side. So it is trying to post the data, but the backend is giving us a 500 internet server. So the 500 which is coming from the backend now, right? So we have given that 500 in a backend only. The string at least. Uh, Let me go for this MongoDB. Take a break and come. I'll solve and update after break.